First of all, thanks for having the time. Thinking, I know that you're very busy now. You are a star, you are a writer, and worldwide known. And so, thank you to be here and to answer my questions.
Я рада быть здесь, в принципе. Спасибо огромное.
She's very glad to be here. Thank you very much.
Congratulations on the documentary, RT documentary on you. It's a really interesting story, and I hope that many people can see it. On my part, I'll try to share it with a lot of people as much as I can.
Спасибо огромное. Приятно это слышать.
Thank you very much. It's very cool to hear this.
I knew of you because you, from very young age, are in this infamous, I should say, mirotvorets website. When did you became aware of this, and what did you feel? What was your reaction when you were told that you were in this list and what this list was?
Я была заметно удивлена. Мне скинули эту новость, сам скриншот, получается, с сайта, что там есть знакомые в соцсетях. Я посмотрела, сильно удивилась, разумеется. И было некое возмущение, потому что данные детей в открытом доступе, как минимум, это незаконно, бесчеловечно.
The reaction was surprise. Faina learned about the fact that she is on mirotvorets from her friends. They sent her a screenshot on social media. And her first reaction was surprise and also anger. Because having children's data in open access like this is illegal and inhuman.
Have you experienced, because of this, any direct threats or harassment as a result of being on this list?
Ну, к счастью, ничего, что угрожало бы жизни, конкретно серьезно, такого не было. Был случай, например, я приезжала в Москву, и мне сказали о том, что там была группа, которая искала меня. Они нашли адрес, видимо, на миротворце и, в принципе, информацию, и вы пытались найти меня. Все хорошо, все обошлось, но тем не менее, такие ситуации бывают, и это крайне опасно.
Well, it's really dangerous actually to be there. Luckily, there were no cases when anything serious happened, but for example, there was one time when Faina was in Moscow that there was a group of people who came looking for her. They found the address of mirotvorets and were looking for her. So it's really, really dangerous. Mm-hmm. Back in the day, nothing serious happened. Well, she was in Moscow, but stuff can happen.
Yeah, it is obvious. I mean, it is shocking, if you allow me to comment on that, to have not only exposed minors in such way, but also in a website which is, for what I've heard, associated with assassination attempts and actually assassinations.
Да, безусловно, так и есть.
Yeah, that's the case.
So, and why have you thought about it? I'm sure you have. What are the motivations for you? For someone to put you on that list? I've seen the website. It says that you are attempting on the integrity of the territory of Ukraine, but what do you think? Have you thought to yourself, have I done something wrong? What have I done to deserve this or to be included on this list? Do you have any clue?
Ну, сложно их логику на самом деле проследить, но, вероятно, из-за творчества животных, конечно, непонятно. Была смешная ситуация, у меня есть пьеса, «Ёжик надежды» называется. Каким-то образом там рассмотрели тематику войны, хотя там этого вообще никаким образом не имеется. Поэтому сложно их логику как-то прослеживать.
Well, Faina gives a brilliant answer that it's very difficult to follow their logic. Among some things, there is a book that Faina wrote, which is called Hedgehog of Hope. Somehow they found that this book is apparently about war, that it has motives of war, and that this is, one of the examples of their logic, why Faina is there. It's connected with her creativity.
Have you changed anything in your life because of it? I mean, have you tried to move home, to move to another place, to a different address than the one that it's on mirotvorets? I mean, have you taken any precautions to defend yourself, or you just went on normally with your life?
Как жила, так и живу, в принципе.
No,
Ну,
didn't change anything.
есть некоторые моменты, например, стараюсь не выходить одна на улицу, как бы с кем-то в сопровождении быть. Также, например, не выкладывая фотографии какие-либо прям в момент мероприятия, а только после него. Ну, будто бы это правило, которое для всех медийных личностей работает, поэтому сложно сказать.
Well, she actually continues to live as she lived. She does the obvious things, that is, she never posts photographs online in the social media from events exactly, only after the event has happened. But that's a normal rule for all media people. So just general precautions. She also never goes out alone. She always has someone with her, just in case, as a precaution. Those things.
Yeah, what are you doing now currently in your life? I mean, are you studying something special? What are your goals that you are pursuing now?
Во-первых, я учусь в Москве в школе дистанционно. Также я журналист. Я прошла недавно стажировку на «Россия сегодня», РИА Новости. Так что вот, журналистика, писательство, все дальше и дальше.
Well, first of all, Faina is studying in school. It's a Moscow school, but she studies there remotely. She's still in school. And another thing is she's a journalist and a writer. She just has passed through a really cool training, by the way, as a journalist. And so she continues in this professional sphere.
Okay, so you
being a journalist and a writer.
Yeah, a journalist and a writer, yes. Well, your course seems to be on very good path. When did you, I mean, a little bit about writing and less about mirotvorets. And I'm not going to dive right away into the reasons or what inspires you to write books and the like. But I know that you once wrote letters to the UN, Antonio Guterres, the UN representative, and also to the Pope. What expectations did you have, or what motivations did you have when you wrote those letters? Did anyone tell you to write them, or was it your idea?
Пришла к этому сама после того, как пришла, собственно, к эссе, вот эссеистика. Потом подумала, что именно обращение, интервью было бы здорово делать. Конкретно по поводу обращений, изначально я думала, что ответ все-таки будет, что-то изменится. Но сейчас, вот спустя это долгое время, больше нацелены обращения мои стали именно на жителей Европы и США. То есть не на власть, не на политиков, а на жителей, чтобы они в ситуации хоть как-то пытались разобраться.
Well, it all started with essays that Faina wrote, and the writing of essays led her to the idea of writing those appeals. And yes, initially when she wrote those letters, those appeals, she was expecting some sort of an answer in the beginning. But time has passed, nothing has changed. So now she does that not really for the politicians to answer, but actually for common people of the countries where these politicians are to notice it and to start thinking about what's happening, to start thinking critically and maybe open their eyes to what's going on.
You have lived the beginning of the conflict in Donbass. You have lived in Lugansk when it was under siege by the Ukrainian army. What role did that play in your writing inspiration?
На самом деле не сказала бы, что сильно отразилось. Как я поняла ранее, я пишу эссе. Именно эссе, они на военную тематику. То есть моя жизнь на войне, вообще что происходило. Также есть творчество, отдельно книги, пьесы, сказки. Там военной тематики почти что нету. Единственное, где была военная тематика, это роман по поводу, Барсики, стоящий с твоим плечом. Там единственное были только послевоенные события. Поэтому я стараюсь как-то это разделять между собой.
Faina tries to separate that. The answer to your question is that the beginning of the war and all the blockade of Lugansk and all of it basically did not have any reflection on her creativity. She separates the two. The essays are on the war-related subjects, on how it is to live in a war zone. But what refers to books, to plays, to that part, right? It's almost not about the war. The only war-related, if you can call it war-related book, is about Barsiks. That's kind of protective cats only their special cats parsics. But that's again shows the post-war time.
Mm.
So she tries to separate it completely.
And what about the war? What thoughts do you have on the war when it started? You were very little, but I'm sure that we throughout the years you became aware of what was going on. What is your understanding? Who is on the wrong or who is on the right there? And forgive me to put it so simply, with good and bad. Can you give me your view on this geopolitical ordeal?
Я считаю, во-первых, был госпереворот, все мы это знаем, Минские соглашения, опять же. То есть изначально я считаю, что была возможность вот в 2014 году, 2015 все это закончить. Но Украина не захотела, США вмешались в это как-то там, вот, и все продолжилось, из этого выросло, получается, СВО. Россия вмешалась, помогла нам. Она, по сути, уже спасла Донбасс, спасла жителей.
In 14 and 15, well, we had the coup, right? We had Minsk Accords. It was all known. Of course, it was all known. There were ways to stop it back in 15th. But USA got involved, all of it got involved, all of it. The SMO started because Ukraine created it with their actions, basically. So Russia got involved and saved Donbass.
Do you ever imagine, and this is a question that I'm sure a lot of the Western audience would like to know about. Could you imagine Donbass returning under Kiev again? And when I ask you, it's also I ask about your awareness about the people you know. What do they think about it? Because Kiev keeps claiming that it wants to liberate you.
Не надо.
We don't need that.
Ни в коем случае.
No.
Ну, они много чего заявляли.
Well, Ukraine has said and keeps saying a lot of things. That's the answer to what you just said, that Ukraine is saying that they are trying to liberate Donbass from Russia.
Okay. And do you think this is the perception around you of all the people that you know, your family and your friends at school?
Ну, конечно.
Of course.
Of course. Okay. So, and still about your studies, what kind of journalism do you intend to do? If you can already see that now at this early stage, do you want to do what kind of reporting? Daily lives? War reporting, write articles, write pieces. What is it that you see yourself doing in this area after you graduate?
Надеюсь, что не военной, потому что война закончится.
Hopefully it's not going to be anything war-related because the war will be over.
There are a lot of appearances of you online and on different channels. When you became famous and when you were aware that you became known, you have interviews with Roger Waters and other famous people. How did that change your life? How did you feel?
Сложный вопрос. Как-то особо ничего не изменилось, разве что стало больше времени работе уделять. Монтажу видео и вот это вот все.
That's difficult to answer. She says she started to devote much more time to work, to making these interviews, to editing the videos.
Do you have any aspirations in raising awareness with your writing, for example, about any subject? I would imagine you would like websites like mirotvorets to be taken out and to not happen anywhere in the world. Do you intend to do anything about it with your writing to get your words spread out?
Конкретно именно миротворец, там ситуация сложная, потому что даже если сам сайт заблокируют, еще есть зеркала, которые будут появляться. То есть там очень трудная работа с его удалением, блокировкой и так далее.
As for mirotvorets, it's a difficult thing because even if they block and remove this website from existence, there are mirrors of this website, so it will continue. Internet remembers everything, and it's very difficult to delete it from the online. It's a very difficult work.
Плюс еще кроме миротворца есть другие сайты, которые тоже появляются, и там тоже есть слитые данные жителей. Поэтому трудная очень работа.
Besides mirotvorets, there are other sites that also contain personal data of the people. So it's not only mirotvorets. There are similar ones. So this work is really very complex.
Так что боремся, надеемся, что пустель закроют.
So we keep fighting and we hope that sooner or later mirotvorets will be done.
So yeah, that's exactly. You mentioned we keep fighting. What kind of fight are you referring to? Are you referring to like information war, the actual fighting in the SMO? What kind of or some kind of activism you might be involved in?
Именно по поводу миротворца, это информационная война. Банально, вот недавно снимали фильм. Вот по этому поводу как бы также боремся.
Regarding mirotvorets, this is informational war. This movie that you started from is an example of it. So we do what we can this way.
И опять же обращение, статьи на эту тематику.
And also appeals and articles on the subject.
Do you have any experience you would like to share with the public about your living in a war zone, as you did in your early years? Do you have any story you would like to share?
Сложно сказать, потому что всё-таки тогда была маленькая, а после этого, не особо часто стреляли, поэтому каких-то прям случаев не запомнилось. Разве что могу как бы случай напомнить такой вот. Я о нём писала вроде бы в своем эссе, но это по воспоминаниям мамы. Она рассказывала, что к нам в огород попал снаряд, а там тогда был мой брат находился, и она очень сильно переживала. То есть она не знала вообще, что делать. У неё на руках маленькая я, а там в огороде брат. Вот очень сложно было ей.
You see, when the combats were happening in Lugansk, shellings were happening in Lugansk area, Faina was very little. So she doesn't really remember it from her own memories, and now it's calmer. So there's not many really war-related stories. But what she can tell you is from the memories of her mom. There was one time when something arrived into the yard, into the orchard. And Faina's elder brother was there, outside. And little Faina was in her mom's hands. And it was a very difficult moment for her mom because she didn't know what to do, which child to drop and where to run. Really complicated.
Yes. Do you have anything you want to share with the audience, like any special message, any appeal you want to make before we end this conversation?
Пожелать мира в первую очередь.
Well, first of all, to wish peace. That's the main thing, the main message.
Well, on my part, I want to thank you again for taking the time and talking to me. I want to thank Masha as well for her brilliant translation work. And so yeah, that's it. And I hope we can talk in the future, and I hope we can meet in the future.
С удовольствием. Будем ждать в Донбассе.
Great, we'll wait for you in Donbass.
Yes.